Find out what gamers, facilities, and those looking for AV solutions need when it comes to monitors, as we take a look back at the history of gaming from the CRT to the OLED. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the rAVe Esports Show, hosted by me, Bubba Gaeddert. That's right, this is a produced show with the help of rAVe Pubs. Can't say enough shout outs to the amazing team at rAVe Pubs. Thank you so much for the opportunity to continue doing this, and especially our sponsor, Extron. We can't do this show without you, and we love providing the information that we have about esports and gaming in the scholastic space, especially for those who need information about esports for their AV solution needs. And as we get started, I always want to mention our charity of choice for the rAVe Esports Show. That is the Video Games and Esports Foundation. That's right, I am the president and co-founder of the Video Games and Esports Foundation, no longer in charge of the day-to-day, but still we look to raise funds to support disenfranchised students in low-income communities with giving them access to STEM education through esports and gaming clubs and curriculum from our friends at Gaming Concepts and Generation Esports. So please check out the link in the description or visit vef.gg, and you can donate today to support students in need across the world. We do have a goal of $10,000 we're trying to raise this season, so if you do get an opportunity to donate $5, $10, or $100, please do so to help out.
Did you know the first gaming displays we used for Pong were almost 30 years older than today's OLED screens? Back in the early days of gaming, CRT monitors were the standard, powering classics like Pong, Pac-Man, and early arcade games. In 1947, Thomas T. Goldsmith Jr. and Cecil Ray Mann filed a patent for a cathode ray tube amusement device. Their game, which uses a cathode ray tube hooked to an oscilloscope display, challenges players to fire a gun at a target. These bulky displays used electron beams to light up individual pixels on a glass screen, creating those vibrant images we first saw in arcades.
Cause I got Pac-Man fever. Pac-Man fever. It's driving me crazy.
Most people believe Pong was the first video game. However, Pong's creators took inspiration from the 1958 game that was never meant for commercial use. Tennis for Two was a science experiment created by William Higginbotham for the annual Visitors' Day at Brookhaven National Laboratory in Upton, New York. His aim wasn't to kick off the multi-billion-dollar game industry. He just wanted to liven up the place with his invention. Hundreds of people lined up to play Tennis for Two on October 18, 1958. Higginbotham was better known for his help in the creation of the atomic bomb. It was 14 years later that Nolan Bushnell and Al Alcorn of Atari developed an arcade table tennis game. When they tested it in Andy Capp's Tavern in Sunnyvale, California, it stopped working. Why? Because people played it so much it jammed with quarters. Pong, an arcade legend, is born. Now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of gaming on CRTs. Pros: fast response time, no input lag. Cons: heavy, bulky, low resolution by today's standards for games. The use of CRTs will live forever in the golden age of gaming, as it was the only type of display we had for gaming until the mid-90s, when LCD displays started outselling CRTs in the television and computer monitor market.
Well, you've heard a lot so far. But I want to stop right here and give a big shout out to Extron, our sponsor. Please listen to this quick message from Extron.
Hi, I'm Kevin Diltz. I'm here at the Extron Experience Center in the Esports booth. I'm the Esports Solutions Manager here. Esports is something that is a big focus of Extron. We have a dedicated team of esports specialists with both AV experience as well as esports industry experience as well. So we work with integrators, we work with schools, we work with colleges and universities. To design esports systems, we have a great design guide on our website at extron.com. And we work with every customer individually to design a perfect esports AV solution. So please contact us. We'd love to work with you, learn about your esports initiative and how we can help you out.
Thank you again, Extron, for all your support. What are we going to look at now? Well, what happened after the CRT when it came to gaming?
Score taken down to one corner. Smith nearly going to be killed now as well. Def taken so low. The blade caller's not able to find him. Def goes on a killing spree. It's the Shy still in the base. It's KT looking to try to stand and fight if they can. The Shy has made his way onto the inhibitor turrets, onto the Nexus turrets. They're going to be taken down. KT still marching. It's a base race. The Shy's onto the blue Nexus. KT's onto the red. Who's going to win? The Shy will not. And KT takes it to game 4. Holy crap! They won the top side 4v4 with Baron buff on. KT roster still are in Worlds!
Let's start with refresh rate and why it is important to gamers. As you see the character run past the doorway, there is more blurriness as the refresh rate drops from 240 to 144, and even more ghosting effect of 60. Let's hear this explained better by the tech chap.
If you're a gamer, there's no question you should absolutely get a high refresh rate monitor. Upgrading to a 144 or a 240Hz monitor means the screen is refreshing itself 144 or 240 times a second, which makes gameplay look and feel so much smoother than a regular 60Hz screen. It can even give you a competitive advantage. Aiming feels more precise, feedback from your inputs feels more immediate, and you can react faster thanks to the reduced latency and blur. Although even all of this can't make up for my fairly terrible gaming skills. Hey guys, I'm Tom the Tech Chap. The tricky part to this is actually being able to show you the benefits of high refresh in a YouTube video that's capped at 60 FPS. But there is a way around it, and that's by showing you footage in slow motion, so you can actually see how many extra frames you get, which hopefully will give you some idea of how it might look at normal speed. But having said that, if you can, I definitely try and see this in person for yourself. Maybe you can go to an electronics store and maybe they'll have one to show you, or a friend's house, because really you do have to see it in person to get the full experience. Now, to show you what I mean, let's look at some side-by-side game footage at 144Hz 1440p and 240Hz at 1080p. And I've recorded all of this with an AVa Media capture card. So it's pretty clear, especially in slow motion, quite how smooth movement and actions are compared to 60Hz. And at full speed, this can genuinely transform how a game plays. To be clear, while a refresh rate is the number of frames the monitor can display in a second, the actual number of frames you'll see, your FPS, will depend on the game, the graphic settings, and how powerful your PC is, but we'll come back to this. So why does it make a difference? Well, for every frame on a 60Hz screen, we get 2.4 frames with a 144Hz monitor and 4 frames with a 240Hz one. This means gameplay can be much smoother, and the step up from 60 to 144Hz is a huge improvement. And while the change from 144 to 240Hz is not as obvious, it's still very impressive. In either case, it makes a big difference, particularly in fast-paced, competitive multiplayer games. So it's smoother and it looks nicer, but can a high refresh monitor actually make you win more in games? Well, personally, yeah, I reckon it could. So having low input lag and low response times are important as well on any gaming monitor, but so is the frame rate. The time between frames at 60 Hz adds a lot to the lag you perceive between clicking the mouse and seeing the result on the screen. And so as the time between frames at higher refresh rates is lower, the action appears on the screen quicker. Nvidia actually ran a recent study where they found players with higher frame rates got better overall win ratios. For example, say an enemy is coming around the corner. If you're getting more frames in a given second, there's a chance you'll see them several frames earlier than you would on a normal 60 Hz screen, which is all important where quick reactions make the difference between winning and, well, usually in my case, not winning. So the higher the frame rate, the more up-to-date visual information you're getting, which could give you an advantage. Now to my eye, and actually even harder to show you, is that the image also appears to be a bit clearer thanks to reduced ghosting, which is that weird effect where moving objects leave a blurry trace of where they were in the previous frame. And so as you get more frames in a given second, the effect is reduced. Of course, you can reduce it even further by choosing a monitor with a variable refresh rate, such as G-Sync, which also removes ugly screen tearing and stutter. But there is something else to consider, because while these monitors can output 144 and 240 Hz refresh rates, which is great, it's actually up to your PC or your laptop to determine whether you take full advantage of that. If you're only getting 100 FPS in Apex or PUBG, then you're obviously not maxing out that 144 or even 240 Hz refresh. So the actual frame rate that you get will very much depend on the kind of games you play. Obviously less demanding titles can let you max out these displays more easily, but if you play graphically intensive AAA titles, then you'll probably need to drop your settings or even invest in a more powerful graphics card. But it's worth bearing in mind that even if you can't max out the monitor right now, chances are if you upgrade your PC in the future, then you'll be able to take better advantage of it. Okay, next question. 144 Hz versus 240, which is better? I mean, the answer should seem obvious, but actually it comes down to the games that you play. I actually think 144 Hz is the better choice for most people. They're cheaper, gaming on them is still light years better than a 60 Hz monitor, and also given current graphics technology, you're more likely to stand a chance of hitting frame rates close to what they offer. You can also find high quality 1440p panels at 144 Hz, whereas right now, 240 Hz models tend to be limited to 1080p. However, if you're all about that speed, and particularly if you play less demanding competitive games like Overwatch or CSGO, then I think you should consider a 240Hz 1080p to get the best advantage. But you'll probably still want to dial down some graphics settings or have a fairly powerful rig in order to get close to that magic 240 FPS.
By the early 2000s, we saw a major shift to LCD technology, offering thinner, lighter screens. LCDs work by manipulating liquid crystals that either allowed or blocked light from a backlight source. Now let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of gaming with LCDs. Pros: slimmer, lighter, more energy efficient, higher resolution. Cons: early LCDs had slower refresh rates and response times, leading to ghosting in fast-paced games. Although there was initial hesitation in competitive gaming and esports circles, LCDs quickly became the norm as refresh rates improved. Then there was the rise of LED monitors and gaming-specific displays. LED monitors are essentially an evolution of LCD, using LEDs for backlighting, resulting in brighter displays and improved contrast. These advancements led to better color accuracy and contrast, perfect for gamers who needed sharp visuals. LED screens ushered in a new era for competitive gaming, with features like 144 Hz refresh rates, which significantly reduced motion blur. With LED screens becoming common in esports arenas, fans could watch every detail of the action in real time, from massive stadium displays. Finally, let's look at OLED and beyond, the future of gaming displays. Unlike LCD and LED, OLED displays don't rely on backlighting. Instead, each pixel lights up individually, resulting in deeper blacks and more vibrant colors. For gamers, this means faster response times, near infinite contrast ratios, and a more immersive experience overall. For esports players, the instant pixel response and lack of motion blur on OLEDs offer a clear competitive advantage, ensuring they never miss a crucial frame of action. While OLEDs are leading the pack, They do come with a few challenges, including cost and potential burn-in, especially with games that display static images for long periods. Looking ahead, technologies like microLED and quantum dot displays are already pushing boundaries, offering even better contrast and efficiency, potentially overcoming the limitations of OLED. How is display tech shaping the future of esports? Today's cutting-edge displays are a critical part of the esports ecosystem, allowing players to react faster and giving fans more immersive experiences. For pro gamers, even the smallest advantage like reducing input lag by a few milliseconds can mean the difference between winning and losing. Esports events now rely on jaw-dropping visual experiences. From the humble beginnings of CRT to the cutting-edge OLED, gaming displays have revolutionized not just how we play, but also how we watch and experience esports. What do you think will be the next big thing in display tech?
Well, that's it for the show today. Thank you so much for supporting us and coming back every week, every month to watch and see what we're going to talk about when it comes to esports, gaming, and AV. Appreciate you all. Thank you, rAVe Pubs. Thank you, Extron. See you next time. We're going to take a look back to the... Let's take a look back at the history of gaming when it comes to monitors, Who even has that ringtone anymore? It's 2024.